my dear friends, how are you? I hope you're good and I'm also fine here. I welcome you to my channel English Planet, wherein I make videos about English grammar, English proverbs, English idioms, and English pronunciation. In today's video, I'm going to talk about participle and participle phrases. But before I could proceed further, I would like to give a brief introduction about my own self. I'm Sunil, I'm a production engineer and also I've done MBA from the University of Mumbai, India. So that's about it. Without wasting much of your time, let's jump straight into the video. Now, before actually going into the video, I would like to explain you what is a modifier. Well, a modifier is a word, a phrase, or a clause that provides extra information or that describes another word in the sentence. I repeat, modify is a word, phrase, or clause that gives extra information about another word in the same sentence. It describes actually another word in the same sentence. There are two types of modifiers, pre-modifiers and post-modifiers. Example number one, the man with black beard was giving the speech. So with black beard is the modifier. Why it is a modifier? Because it describes the man. Which man? The man with black beard. So with black beard is the modifier here. Second one, call the boy in red t-shirt. Now here, in red t-shirt is the modifier. Why it is the modifier? Because it describes the word boy. Which boy? In red t-shirt. So red t-shirt is the modifier. Third one, the old man was walking slowly. Here slowly becomes the modifier because it is describing walking. How he was walking, the old man? He was walking slowly. So slowly becomes the modifier. So this is the concept of modifier. Now let us understand what a phrase is. Well, a phrase is a group of words without the subject and the verb combination. Okay, a phrase is a group of words within a sentence without the subject and the verb combination. It may have a subject, it may have a verb, but not both. So that's what a phrase is. For example, once in a blue moon. This is a phrase. It is without the subject and verb combination. To be free. Totally delicious food. So this is what a phrase is. Now let us understand the types of phrases. There are 12 kinds of phrases. First one is the noun phrase, then the adjective phrase, adverb phrase, infinitive phrase, gerund phrase, conjunctional phrase, interjectional phrase, absolute phrase, appositive phrase, participle phrase, verb phrase, and prepositional phrase. In today's lecture, we are going to learn about participle phrases. Now, what is a participle? Participle is a form of a verb that actually is used like an adjective. It is used to indicate a past or the ongoing action. It is used like an adjective. Remember that it is used like an adjective. What does an adjective do? It modifies the noun or the pronoun. So that what it is used like an adjective. For example, the word smiling in the smiling child is participle. Child is a noun. So what kind of child? Smiling child. So smiling is a participle. It is a present participle. Now the word rising in the rising sun is a participle because it is used like an adjective. What kind of sun? Rising sun. It is describing the noun sound. Since it is describing the noun sound, noun sun, it becomes a adjective. It is functioning like an adjective. So this is rising is a participle. The boiled water. The word boiled in boiled water is a participle. Why it is a participle? It's a past participle. Why it's a participle? Because it's describing water. Water is a noun. So boiled becomes a participle. Now in further slides, I'm going to explain you about what is a present participle and what is a past participle. Here smiling is a present participle, rising is a present participle, and boiled is a past participle. Let's move further. Now there are two kinds of participle, present participle and past participle. Present participle is a word ending in ing, for example eating, sleeping, waiting, and so on. And past participle usually ends in ed, but if the word ends in d, t, en, or n, they are also past participles. For example tone, told, woken, written, brought, etc. Now let us understand what a participle phrase is. A participle phrase is a group of words containing a participle, a modifier, a pronoun, or a noun phrase. Okay, so remember that participle phrases always function as adjectives. And what is an adjective? It describes a noun or a pronoun. So it will always function as an adjective. Participle phrases contain a present participle or a past participle at the beginning. There are actually three kinds of participles: present, past, and perfect. Perfect always begins with having, but we are not going to learn much about perfect participle in this phrase. In this lecture, we are going to learn about past participles and present participles in this lecture. So there are two kinds of participle: present participle and past participle. Present participle always ends in ing. Past participle always ends in ed, en, dt, or n. And participle phrase is a group of words containing a participle modifier or a pronoun or a noun phrase. Now let us understand participle phrase with the help of an example. Removing his shirt, Ron jumped into the water to save the child. Now removing is a participle here. It is ending in ing. It is a present participle. His is a pronoun and shirt is a noun. So removing his shirt becomes your participle phrase. It functions as an adjective. Why it is functioning as an adjective? Because it's describing Ron. Ron is a noun. It is describing Ron. It is modifying the noun Ron. Removing his shirt, Ron. What did Ron do? Removing his shirt. So it is describing Ron, the noun. Second example, Teresa observed her father jogging along the path. Now, jogging is a present participle because it is ending in ing. Path is a noun. So jogging along the path becomes a participle phrase modifying father. Father is a noun. Why is modifying father? It provides extra information about father. It's describing father. Teresa observed her father. What he was doing? Jogging along the path. So jogging along the path becomes the participle phrase. Third example. Kids interested in music early develop powerful intellectual skills. Interested in music early is a participle phrase. Why? Because interested is a past participle because it is ending in ed and it is modifying the noun kids. Kids is a noun. Kids. What kind of kids? Interested in music early. So interested in music early becomes a participle phrase. It is functioning as an adjective because it is modifying the noun kids. Fourth example, having been a pole vaulter, Gail knew the importance of exercise. Now having, this is a past participle, this is a perfect participle. Having is beginning with having. So having is a perfect participle. Having been a pole vaulter. So is a participle phrase. Why? Because it is describing the noun Gail. It is describing Gail. Gail, what does Gail knew? He knew the importance of exercise. Why? Because he was a pole vaulter. So having been a pole vaulter is a participle phrase functioning as an adjective because it is modifying the noun Gail. Now gerund is also a word ending in ing and present participle is also a word ending in ing. Both are forms of verb, but let us understand the difference between gerund and past present participle. Now gerund acts as a noun whereas present participle acts as an adjective. Remember, this is the main difference. Gerund acts as a noun whereas present participle acts as an adjective. Gerund can be followed by a verb. For example, riding a horse is my hobby. Riding is a gerund. It is followed by a verb is. It is a helping verb. So riding becomes the gerund. It is always followed by a verb. It can be followed by a verb. And present participle is not followed by a verb. It is followed by the subject of the sentence. For example, walking a long way, I found the shop. I is the subject and it follows walking. Walking is a present participle because it is followed by subject I. Gerund is placed after a transitive verb. What is a transitive verb? You have to ask the question what or whom, and if you get a sensible answer, that is a transitive verb. He started what? Teaching Hamlet. So teaching is the transitive verb, and started is the transitive verb, and teaching is the present participle. He started what? Teaching Hamlet. He is following the transitive verb. Started is the transitive verb. So teaching becomes your present participle. Gerund. Teaching becomes your gerund. It is always placed after a transitive verb. And present participle is placed after an intransitive verb. What is an intransitive verb? You have to ask the question what or whom, and if you are not getting a sensible answer, if you are not getting a sensible answer, that is an intransitive verb. She went away. What? No, dancing. You are not getting a sensible answer. So went is a intransitive verb. So present participle is always placed after intransitive verb. So dancing becomes your present participle because went is a intransitive verb. Gerund always comes after the preposition. What are prepositions? Of, in, at, on, or. I have made a detailed video on preposition. Check out there if you don't know what is a preposition. So a gerund comes after prepositions like of, in, at, on, for, with, within, so on. Present participle comes in any continuous tense like present continuous or past continuous or future continuous and so on. I'm going there. So this is Present continues. Going words end in ing is present continues and am is present. So I'm going there. So I'm going is a present continuous. So this is a going is a present participle. Gerund is a compound noun. For example, a writing table. What is a compound noun? Words noun made up of two words, writing and table. So writing table is a compound noun, so it is a gerund. Writing is a gerund. Driving license. Driving license is a compound noun, so driving is a gerund. But there is an exception, a drowning man. This is also a word ending in ing, but this is not a gerund. This is the present participle because it is a man who is drowning, not a man for driving. Here a writing table, a table for writing, a license for driving. So a man for driving, this is not a man for driving, this is a man who is driving. So it is the present participle. This is the exception. Now let us understand the punctuations. When the present participle comes at the beginning of a sentence, or when the participle phrase comes at the beginning of a sentence, you should always use a comma after it. For example, thrown through the window. Thrown is a past participle. Window is a noun. Thrown through the window, the rock fell on the floor. So thrown through the window is a participle phrase coming at the beginning. So you have to put comma after it. It is modifying the noun rock. Rock. What happened to the rock? Thrown through the window. Second example. Running out of the door, I forgot to turn off the light. Running is a present participle. Door is a noun. Running out of the door. So it's coming at the beginning. So you have to put a comma after it. Running out of the door is modifying the pronoun I. So it is functioning as an adjective. Eating all that candy, Sarah became extremely fat. Eating all that candy, who? Sarah. So it is modifying the noun Sarah. So eating all that candy is an adjective. It is functioning as an adjective. So it becomes a participle phrase. Eating is a participle, present participle. So eating all that candy is coming at the beginning. So after eating all that candy, you put a comma. Holding all these bags, Susan couldn't see a thing. Holding is a present participle. Bags is a noun. So holding all these bags is acting as an adjective, modifying the noun Susan. What happened to Susan? Holding all this. She was holding all those bags. So she couldn't see a thing. So it's a participle phrase coming at the beginning. So you put a comma after it. Punctuation at the end of a sentence. If the noun or the pronoun that the participle phrase describes is right before it, don't use a comma. If it comes at the end, don't use a comma. So we saw Robert fixing his car. Fixing his car is a participle phrase. Fixing is a present participle. Car is a noun. His is a pronoun. So fixing his car, who? Robert. So it is modifying the noun Robert. So it comes before, just before the participle phrase. You don't have to put a comma. So we saw Robert fixing his car. Fixing his car is a participle phrase. It's coming at the end. It's just coming before the noun it modifies. So there won't be any comma in this. I found my cat sleeping on my pillow. So sleeping on my pillow. Sleeping is the present participle. My is the pronoun. Pillow is the noun. So sleeping on the pillow, on my pillow is a participle phrase modifying the noun cat, my cat, and it's coming at the end. So there won't be any comma here. You notice him taking the bus. Taking the bus is a participle phrase because it's modifying the pronoun him. So it's functioning like an adjective. So taking the bus is a participle phrase. Taking is the present participle. Bus is a noun. So taking the bus comes exactly after him. It comes at the end. It comes after the pronoun it modifies. So there won't be any comma. They heard Julie singing joyfully. Singing is a present participle. Joyfully is a noun. So singing joyfully is a participle phrase modifying the word noun Julie. So since it's coming at the end just before the noun it is modifying it, there won't be any comma. If the noun or the pronoun that the participle phrase describes is not right before it, you have to use a comma. There's a difference in the position between the two. So there won't be any comma in that. For example, Kelly thanked Paul, touched by his generosity. So Kelly is the noun which is being described. Touched by his generosity is a participle phrase. Touched is the past participle. It's ending in ed. So touched by his generosity. So touched by generosity is the participle phrase modifying the noun Kelly. So Kelly is here and touched by generosity is here. So you have to put a comma. We ate in silence, comma, worried about the future. Now, worried about the future. Worried is a past participle since it is ending in ed, and it is modifying the word now pronoun we. We were worried about the future. So we is here, worried about the future is here, and it is not right before it. So there would be a comma after we ate in silence. Mark brought a small gift encouraged by the news. Who was encouraged by the news? Mark. So it is modifying the, it is describing the noun Mark. And Mark is right at the beginning and this is right at the end. So is so it is actually describing a noun which is not before it. There's a difference in the position. So we have to put a comma. They sang happily, comma, forgetting the past and looking forward to the future. Who were forgetting in the past and looking forward to the future? They. So it is modifying the pronoun they. So you have to put a comma after they sang happily because the participle phrase is describing the pronoun which is not before it. So you have to put a comma after happily. Now, types of participle phrases. There are actually two types of participle phrases: essential participle phrase and non-essential participle phrase. Now, essential participle phrase is, as the name suggests, it provides essential information, so that if you remove the essential participle phrase from the sentence would be meaningless. It won't provide the desired meaning. So that is essential participle phrase. In essential participle phrases, we don't use comma before and after the participle phrase. For example, the athlete winning the race will get the award. Winning the race is a participle phrase because it's winning is a participle is ending in ing and the race is a noun. So winning the race becomes a participle phrase. Now if you remove this participle phrase, what will the sentence look like? The athlete will get the award, but we don't know which athlete will get the award. So this is an essential phrase because by removing the participle phrase, the meaning is lost. So athlete winning the race will get the award is a essential participle phrase. Athlete winning the race is an essential participle phrase, and we don't use comma in this. Now, non-essential participle phrase, as the name suggests, it is non-essential. Even if we remove the non-essential participle phrase from the sentence, the meaning would be clearer. The meaning won't be hampered. So we normally put commas in the non-essential participle phrase before and after the participle phrase. For example, Mike, comma, swinging his arms, comma, passed the finish line and won the race. Now, swinging is a present participle. Arms is a noun. He is a pronoun. Now, Mike swinging his arms passed the finish line and won the race. Even if we remove this swinging his arms, so the sentence would become Mike passed the finish line and won the race. The meaning is it has a meaning. It has a meaning. The meaning is not hampered. So, swinging his arms becomes a non-essential participle phrase, and we put commas after before and after the participle non-essential participle phrase. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen, from me. I hope you have understood everything. Even if you are not understood, you please mention your doubts, queries and suggestions in the comment box. I'll have a look at them and get back to you. So that's it. Thanks for your time. Thanks for listening. Until next time, bye bye.